And a federal judge has temporarily stopped the Trump administration from reallocating more than $4 billion in FEMA funding meant to protect communities from natural disasters. 20 states sued to prevent those cuts. Back in June, a mayor in Louisiana told me the FEMA funds are desperately needed to protect his city from flooding. The White House is backing off at least some of the cuts it's been making to the federal workforce. The National Weather Service got the go-ahead to fill 450 vacancies. Elon Musk boasted about how much he'd save taxpayers when he was running the Department of Government Efficiency. CBS News took a close look at some of the numbers, and Nancy Cordes shows you what we found.
Elon Musk may have left the White House in May, but the work of the operation he started lives on, documented on what DOGE calls its online wall of receipts.
We cut hundreds of billions of dollars with DOGE.
But analysts who closely study federal budgets tell us that is an exaggeration, as are some claims on the wall of receipts. A CBS News review of 3 of the largest cuts listed there shows the actual savings were not a combined $6.4 billion as claimed, but $165 million. In other words, DOGE was off by 97%.
I think there are a lot of stakeholders out there who are, rightly questioning these numbers.
Rachel Snyderman is an economic policy expert at the Bipartisan Policy Center.
Why hasn't DOGE changed the way it reports its cuts? Why are we still getting these accounting errors?
I think part of it is that the federal procurement process is extraordinarily complicated. I think we are talking about these very large-scale contracts that have, in some cases, multiple third-party actors who are bidding on them.
In this case, the 3 canceled contracts all funded COVID-19 testing and treatment during the pandemic. Nearly all the money had already been put to use before DOGE canceled the contracts.
Please go ahead.
This afternoon, I asked President Trump about the cuts to come.
How much more would you like DOGE to cut from the federal government?
It's not a question of DOGE. We have great people, secretaries and all, working with DOGE and cutting with a scalpel as opposed with an axe. There's cutting with a fine-tooth comb. And there's more cutting to do, but there's also more getting. We want smart people in government.
Speaking of smart people in government, Nancy, what more can you tell us about the sudden move to fill those vacancies at the National Weather Service?
Maurice, we have confirmed that the Weather Service has been granted special permission to hire about 450 meteorologists and other weather-related personnel to try to fill that big hole that was left when hundreds of forecasters were either fired or offered early exits by DOGE just a few months ago. And this comes amid concerns that the Weather Service may not be operating at full strength as hurricane season heats up.
Separate topic here. Bill and Hillary Clinton and several former attorneys general from around the country and from Washington, they got subpoenas from Congress. So what's going on there?
These are subpoenas that were issued by the Republican-led House Oversight Committee to a number of former officials from both parties, including the Clintons, who knew Epstein. Now, it is worth noting, Maurice, that Congress has never successfully compelled a former president to testify. The last one to testify voluntarily was Gerald Ford back in 1983.
Okay, Nancy Cordes at the White House. Thank you.